What's up everybody and welcome to another edition of AGR's Pop Culture Reviews. Now as promised in the previous video, I was going to be showcasing some of the items I was able to get my hands on while at the UltraCon of South Florida. Now this one is of particular importance to me because I have been searching for it forever. Now I've seen mere glimpses of this piece on Facebook and on eBay, but never any realistic opportunity to actually acquire it. This is why it's so important to go to the cons, because there you can find those ultra rare pieces that you've been searching for forever. Now for me, what makes Hawkgirl so fascinating is that her origin story has changed significantly over the years. And her origin stories are pretty wide in range. Sha'ira would initially be the reincarnated spirit of an ancient Egyptian. Later she would be retconned to be an intergalactic cop from the planet Thanagar. And finally, according to the New 52, she would be completely reinvented again, changing her name to Kendra Saunders, in the process dumping her alien origin story and making her an Earthling as a recruit for the World Army. I know it all sounds rather confusing with the origin stories and the retcons, but you have to remember this is the comics and they have to change certain aspects of the character to suit modern audiences. It happens. Regardless of the iteration, she's a total badass and I'm just glad to have this piece in studio. So today we're going to be reviewing DC Collectibles' version of Hawkgirl, part of the DC CoverGirls line. Let's take a closer look. Megatron once told Optimus Prime, "I would have waited an eternity for this." And it certainly doesn't disappoint. I love the head sculpt here, it's very ornate. Now normally I like to see the whited out eyes when it comes to the mask because it looks more comic book accurate. Now they did something very stylish here. The fact that she's giving us her profile is not only very unique, but it's very elegant looking. The fact that her eyes are gold makes it seem like she has her eyes closed, and it works very well from an artistic standpoint. Now this exquisite attention to detail also extends to the midsection and upper torso of this piece. Now just take a look at how beautifully sculpted this is. I love the fact that you can really see the detail and muscular structure in her arm. The color palette here really pops out, contrasting so nicely with the yellow and the green. It looks fantastic. And apart from that, you really get a nice sense of her abdominal muscles. I also love her utility belt and that wonderful insignia of the Hawkgirl, which is a nice red. It's really well done. Now the stance here is pretty interesting because it is very understated, but nevertheless very powerful, and I think it goes very well with the overall motif of this piece. The muscles in her legs are very robust without being over the top. The trousers look fantastic. I love the boots here, they're very well sculpted, and again that color palette is great. That red offset against the gold trim really catches your eye and pops out. I also like the fact that one of her legs is slightly raised and barely touching the base, which we'll get to in a moment, but this looks great. Now this is definitely one of the highlights of this piece and certainly a focal point. Her mace is beautiful, and this thing alone is worth the price of this statue. It is not only incredibly sculpted, but it also has an incredible amount of detail, and if you'll notice on the hilt, there is mixed media, there's some fabric there. The sculpt of the Morning Star is really spectacular, and it does look like it's made out of some kind of iron. Additionally, the way that she's holding it creates the illusion that there's a lot of heft to this weapon, and it looks really great. There are too many reasons to count to mirror this piece, but let's start with the helmet. The reverse side is so detailed, and you really get a nice sense of the flare and the sculpt on the reverse side. You also get a nice sense of the sculpt in the hair, which is really awesome, guys, and you can't see it from the front. But of course what really steals the show here is the sculpt and the intricacy in the wings. What makes them even cooler is that they do attach to the statue magnetically. And of course you get that wonderful fan service, very defined and probably the best I've seen for this type of statue, which is amazing. And you get a greater sense of the way that she attaches to the base. Definitely mirror this one. Guys, this one is an easy one. It is an instant holy grail piece, and if you have an opportunity to pick up this statue, definitely get it, no matter what, because it is so hard to find right now. Now before I go, I just want to thank F&B Collectibles Incorporated for sponsoring today's video. I also want to thank Korka Comics for hooking me up with this wonderful piece for review. Alright everybody, so that's my official review on the DC Collectibles version of Hawkgirl, part of the DC CoverGirls line. As always, I thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next AGR's Pop Culture Reviews.